I learned that there's still a ton that I need to improve on. There really is. I made a lot of plays happen kind of off script this year, but there was times where I try to make those plays happen and instead of just taking the easy completion for a first down. And so I have to keep finding that line whenever I want to try to make the big play happen, and when I want to just take the easy completion, move the chains, keep the offense on the field, keep rolling down the field. And that's stuff that I have to keep working on every single year, and that scheme eval really opened my eyes to that.
2018 NFL MVP Patrick Mahomes on how he's trying to get better. You know, Chris is explaining that. I'm thinking, no, don't take the easy completion. We want to see the spectacular play, right? Throw the ball down the field, do the no-look pass, throw it with your left hand, do whatever you have to do. Give us a highlight, right? There's no highlights that come out of the dink and dunk.
No.
But I understand the point. And I can't imagine the guy actually being better, but think about that. That was his first season as a starter, and now he's working his butt off to get better. Who knows where this guy's ceiling is?
No, the ceiling is I mean, really, if he reaches his ultimate potential, he's a guy that can be in the conversation for one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. I mean, yes, it's that type of talent the kid has. I mean, great demeanor, unfazed by big moments, good athlete, you know, one of the most explosive, dynamic arms we've ever seen in football, and we've only seen him for 1 year, but we already know that because he made throws last year that nobody in the history of the sport has ever made. And Mike, I know you and I talked about this during the season last year. Man, did he leave a lot of plays on the field. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful to that in any way, because he made so many plays that other quarterbacks couldn't make. But there was a number of slam dunk plays, wide open people down the middle of the field, where I think in year two, with him being a little more comfortable, seeing defenses a little bit better, that he will hit some of the throws that I saw him miss last year, to where, yeah, I look at it and just go, I have a hard time believing this guy's not going to be at the top of just about every statistical category once again, because of the Chiefs' offense and because of his talent.
And this year could arguably be the most challenging of his career, because this is the first opportunity for defenses to implement everything they've learned by studying carefully everything he did last year. A year ago, they really didn't know what to expect. Now they do, and now we see this all the time. Anytime the next big thing hits the NFL, defenses become determined to try to counter it. So he's got to stay a step ahead of them, and that may not be the easiest thing to do, and it's going to get easier as more and more film is accumulated of what defenses are doing and of what he's doing. But this is going to be his first big test, because we don't know what defenses have up their sleeves when they're going to face Patrick Mahomes this year. So can he counter that? Can Andy Reid help him through that and help him continue toward that ceiling? That's going to be the big challenge, and that's why I won't be surprised if there is a step back this year as he kind of regroups and learns how to get past whatever defenses are doing to neutralize his skills.
Well, it's certainly a valid point, and I think it's very real. And, you know, added to that fact, right, I mean, we don't expect Tyreek Hill to be there, so that's going to make it even more challenging. Guys like Sammy Watkins, who are being paid $16 million a year, like a number one receiver in the NFL, he needs to kind of show his worth this year. But, Mike, going back to Mahomes, like, spot on. I mean, hey, teams are going to go back, especially the AFC West teams, and they're going to start to compile a book a little bit. You know, most division teams spend a week, maybe a little more, on their other division rivals at some point during the offseason and have a little base game plan or thoughts that they look back at last year and think, oh, we need to do this year. One thing I think for sure, and we saw New England do this, and you still can't stop them all the way, is stop them from getting out of the pocket and especially running right. His statistics getting out of the pocket and especially to the right side were through the roof last year. He was basically unstoppable when that happened, and you can think of a number of plays. Here's one right here against the Patriots. You know what, though? They had a guy there grabbing his jersey because they had a rover spying him. He made a bad interception. You know, so it's going to be about that and his adjustment, Mike. You're exactly right, and he's going to have some moves to counter some of the things that he routinely did last year.
If you're in New England still like you were 7 years ago, and Bill Belichick comes to you and says, all right, Sims, you've watched the film. What can we do to further keep Patrick Mahomes from being the guy that he is when everything is working for him?
Yeah, I think I of course would start with that, not getting out of the pocket, right? The second thing I would do, just as far as I would make Mahomes, make me believe that he's willing to throw checkdowns and the shorter passes and execute that way. That would probably be another thing I would look at, because he does have such an aggressive nature. Andy Reid has such an aggressive nature as a play caller. So that would be maybe one other aspect. If I didn't have a team that I felt like could play Kansas City Chiefs man-to-man, yeah, I would play deep zones. A little bit like, remember, we saw the Denver Broncos do and the Los Angeles Chargers do, who gave them some trouble right late in the season, really backed off and just said, we don't trust Andy Reid or Patrick Mahomes that you'll take the conservative approach and beat us that way. And I think that'll be part of the book on beating the Chiefs and Mahomes here going forward a little bit.
I mean, the problem is, like with blitzing and whatnot, he's so good at getting away from pressure.
Right.
And that's when everything starts to break down, is when he seems to be at his best. So you almost do have to have a very controlled, systematic approach where you force him to be patient, because eventually he will get impatient as you force him to be patient.
Exactly.
And maybe he will throw the ball. That's screw it, I'm throwing it deep.
Right.
When he shouldn't, but he just wants to. And I think he's going to have to engineer that out of his nature. And maybe a year or two of seeing defenses force him to do it is what it'll do. But what a wasted talent, Chris, if all we're doing is seeing checkdowns. I don't want to see checkdowns.
I know, me neither. But, it's again, he's got to just bring it to a part of his game. Like we talk about with a Carson Wentz or a Cam Newton. Can they slide? Can they do that and add that to their game? Yeah, his patience and an ability to go, you know what, I'll take the short completion, I'll get the big play later. That is something that's going to test him, and he's probably hasn't been tested in that area before. It'd be fun to watch.
More from Adam Gase's press conference when PFT Live continues.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.